the Great Lakes Navy base, and then because of the health of my mother, who was a rheumatoid arthritic, we moved to Arizona in 1959 to keep her on her feet, and she stayed on her feet for another 30 years after that, so that was a good choice. In 1985, I was in my backyard and I was shot in the back by a little boy that was playing with his dad's rifle, and he was shooting at his back fence, and I was on the other side. And the bullet went through the fence and hit me in the side, and it shattered my spleen and entered my backbone. But that happened in 1985, and because I had no spleen, then 20 years later, in April of 2005, I contacted an illness that caused my amputations.
Jeff was in a coma in the hospital, and everyone was telling me, all the medical professionals were telling me that he was going to die, that he wasn't going to make it. And I had accepted that as a very likely fact, but they wanted me to sign a DNR, and I couldn't do that. I just knew that Jeff wouldn't want me to do that. I went outside, I was a smoker at the time, and I went outside and sat on my smoking bench, and one of the nurses had given me a bookmark. And on this bookmark there was a poem that says, "Don't give up." And I read it, and it moved me, but I put it in my purse and went out for a cigarette, reached in for a cigarette, and every time I reached in my purse, I came out with the bookmark. And I kept looking at it and putting it away, and then I realized that that was it. I had to just not give up.
Now you have to understand that every medical professional at that time was coming on down on her pretty hard. Let this man go. His life is not worth saving at this point. I don't even think we can save his life, even if we tried. And she was the one that said, no, you are going to do everything you possibly can.
When the surgeon came in and looked at Jeff and said, he looked at him for maybe 10 seconds, and then he turned and walked out of the room saying, "I'm not going to do it." I ran after him, grabbed him by the shoulder and turned him around and said, "You have to do it. Someone has to do it." And he said, "No, he'll die on the table. I'm not going to do it." And I said, "He'll either die on the table or he'll die right there in the room. He has to have the surgery. He can't live without it." He said, "He's going to wake up with no hands and no feet and hate you forever." And I said, "So be it."
And I hate this woman so much that on June 11th, 2005, just barely over 2 months after this happened to me, while I was still in the hospital, I asked this woman to marry me. And we were married by the hospital clergy in room 105 in telemetry, in the same hospital in which the amputations happened. When I had woken up and realized that I had no hands and feet, I was really inundated with visitors, colleagues, ex-students from years back that I didn't even remember. But I remember one of the department heads that I had came in and he said to me, "Jeff, you're at a crossroads right now. You can either lay there and feel sorry for yourself, or you can use this as a springboard to go out and change lives." It was a wonderful, positive thing to say. And I can remember while I was awake, my principal had called me up several times. And he called and talked to me on the phone, told me about the wonderful things that were happening at the high school where I was teaching. But he always finished up the conversation with, "Can you give me some sort of timeline for when you're going to be back in the classroom?" When all the medical professionals were asking me to apply for Social Security and go on disability, and he didn't give me that option. Every conversation ended up with, "I need to know when you're going to be back in the classroom." And less than 8 months later, I was sitting in his office getting ready to start teaching again full-time in January. I will never, ever believe that God did this to me, but I do believe in my heart that God kept me around for a reason. Something that I really live my life by now is I'm not going to let the things that I can't do get in the way of the things that I can do. And there's a lot of things I can't do, but there's a lot of wonderful people out there that have helped me through this. A lot of new wonderful people that I've met, and a lot of wonderful people that I've yet to meet. And life it's wonderful. One thing I would like to leave you with, I always remember from The Music Man, when Professor Harold Hill was waiting for Marion the librarian to come meet him at the footbridge. And she came down and she said, "I almost didn't come. I think we should do this tomorrow. And he said, oh, Miss Marion, if you pile up enough tomorrows, all you'll find is a bunch of empty yesterdays. And for those of you that have anything wrong with you at all, whether it be an amputation, whether it be a loved one you lost, any crisis in your life, don't start piling up empty yesterdays. Get up and live, because you get one get-go in this world and that's it.
There's a reason why a lot of times we find ourselves having the same New Year's resolution year in and year out. And that is because until you get a new you, you will never have a new year. I'll repeat that. Until you get a new you will never have a new year. So I encourage people to get in tune with themselves and to find a way to get to that great self that they know is buried down deep inside of them. And it takes time. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. The reality is we live in a society where we're standing in front of the microwave patting our feet and we want everything like yesterday. But success is a process. So be patient and know that your time will come.
What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That's when you use your compass. That's when you trust that your compass is there to guide you and you go for it.
It is extremely powerful to set your own compass, be true to your own highest values, be clear on your own inspirations and vision, and follow the path with a machete and create a completely new trail that's true to you.
Keep this in mind. For every moment you spend focusing outside of yourself, trying to find an answer, you're sacrificing 1 minute that you could be looking inside yourself where the answer's been there all along.
Imagine you're going down a 2-lane road. You have speed bumps on both sides that tell you when you're going out of your lane. As long as you stay in your lane, all is well. You're following your path. When you hit one of the bumps on the right or on the left, all it is a little jolt. It's waking you up to say, oh, get back in your lane. Stay on your path. Follow your compass.
It's not thinking about the ideas. It's not becoming aware of the ideas. The most important part of our life is actually putting the ideas into play and using them to run our lives. That makes all the difference in the world.
How many opportunities are you missing? They're right there, right in your backyard, that you're not acting upon.
Listen to your intuition, what is called the still inner voice, that little voice that will always guide you to do the right thing for you. Never go against your intuition. When you listen to your intuition, when you listen to your heart, there's some great power in the universe that will guide you unerringly to doing the right things and being the right person in the right place for you.
Confronted by a challenge and you feel you're literally hanging from a cliff. Instead of focusing on the fall, it might be wiser to focusing on how it strengthens your hands. It's making you determine what you really want in life, your goal, and maybe giving you an opportunity to show that you can conquer any obstacle and actually go from the cliff hanging to rising above the cliff and getting to the peak.
Life is alive, and when you get into the flow of the movement, it'll feel like you come to life. It'll feel like you come to life once again.
So remember, every time the sun touches your face, you can understand and know that you are special.
As long as we're moving in the direction of our goals and our dreams and we hold on to our vision, we will achieve every single goal and you will achieve every single goal that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's... Uh-oh. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is John Spencer Ellis back in 2015. This is called The Compass, the documentary for a movie. John Spencer Ellis features Les Brown, Brian Tracy. You can look it up on YouTube. He has it there. He's a fantastic guy. I've never met him, but he sets the tone for what I want to do today. In your chat, there is, at the beginning of this new fiscal year, so you all don't know it, but what we do here is an assembly of wanderers thing. And I've told myself to be faithful to my resource-based economy that I am toiling for. And so there is a donation link out there every Thursday and Sundays. You will all see me on Sundays too. Just I haven't said anything about it just yet. But there is a donation link out there. You can do a reoccurring donation, or you can do a small 50-cent donation, or you can do a $50 million donation. Oh, well, nobody's stopping you. You know, folk like Jerome and Otis and Dion, they got $50 million. You know, so we don't, yeah. Otis like, shh, don't tell the IRS as well. So you be faithful. Well, I'm being faithful to my mission. Now you be faithful to your mission, which leads me to now my second point. Right now we're in the housekeeping part of this wonderful call. My second point, have you been faithful to you? Where would you be if you have not given up on you? That's my second point. Where would you be if you have not given up on you? I went and checked the credit class thingy. Some of y'all, I put in the credit class, and you ain't been taking it. Shame on you. Firstly, it's not just credit, it's business funding raising. It's the most comprehensive, blah, blah, blah. If you have gone up over 100 points, would you unmute your mics, please, and let these folk know?
Me. Between Jay and me, yeah.
It's about 5 folk right now that already went over 100 points in 8 weeks. If you have also retrieved personal funding or business funding, which an unsecured line of credit, you didn't have to show no collateral, they gave you a new credit card of some type, would you please unmute your mic and let these folk know you in this business?
Woo.
Me.
Yes,
I hear that again. I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna get a few more people. If Bank of America, I'm talking to you, not Jerome, if Bank of America and other folk called you and say, oh, I'm so sorry, we clearly need to talk to you. If people have called you and said, sir, ma'am, we're on your case right now, would you unmute your mic and let these folk know it works?
Yes, sir. It's working.
There you go.
It's
There
working
you
real
go.
good.
There you go. The reason I did that, there's no upsell here. Like the credit has nothing. The credit class is Antonio T. Smith Jr. LLC. It has nothing to do with Assembly of Wonders. I keep things separate. But the reason I said it is because if you're sitting here and you have not taken advantage of your blessings, where would you be if you have not given up on you? How far? I got you, Tracy. Let me just give me 30 seconds. How far would you be ahead of where you are now if you took you as seriously as you took all that other stuff you're doing? Can I get a witness? How many of you can genuinely say, I'm not first on my own list? Come on, help me, somebody. Let me. I'm only talking to the providers. Okay, I'm only talking to the providers. I'm only talking to the providers, and I'm only talking to the nurturers. Providers and nurturers, I'm only talking to you two. Okay, providers and nurturers, I'm only talking to you two. As a provider, and I'm a provider. My job is to keep me last. As a nurturer, I'm not a nurturer. That would be Monique. As a nurturer, she always keeps herself last. Is this resonating with some of you? Is this?
You are double dipping, sir.
There you go. So if we write down who gets the most attention in our lives on our list, it won't be us, the mom. Them kids will get it. Then that spouse will get it. Then those bills will get it. Then whatever we believe and pray to will get it. Then our dreams will get it. And then finally, when we finish all that Otis, then we say, you know, I just realized I ain't bought myself nothing in the whole decade. Who know what I'm talking about? When the last time you went shopping for you? Come on, help me, somebody. All right.
I saw my therapist last Friday. Well, what you doing back here again?
You know what?
Hey, yo, wait, Antonio. I bought myself some of those bath salts. You know what I'm saying, from Dove. Okay, a couple weeks ago.
That's right. And you let me give your husband some free advice. Tell your husband, as long as them hands is moving, them feet ought to be rubbed.
I'll tell him.
All right, then there you go. From one man to another. If you don't rub them feet, somebody else gonna slide in that inbox and apply to rub them. That was too real for y'all. Don't worry about it. That was too real for y'all. I do apologize. I am under the influence of grace and mercy. You see what I just did it? All right, then. Come on, Tracy. Let me hear from you.
So hello, everyone. While he was on the credit part, I just wanted to jump in because I didn't get a chance to really talk yesterday during the class. And there's another update since I talked to you last time, Mr. Antonio T. Smith Jr. Talk. So, because I went to the new credit union that I opened up a new credit union account this weekend, and they said, "Well, you got to come in, blah 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 blah." So I got the paperwork right here, y'all. Okay, so let me just break down really quickly. In September, it's when I had all of this issues with the financial stuff with my old credit union, and I sent my credit score to Antonio and showed him what it was. And with TransUnion, I'll just say that one, it was below 600, okay? And today, when I was sitting in there with this new credit union, the lady was like, "Oh, okay, you know what, we pulled your credit, so if anything you want to do now, let us know so it won't be another credit pull. Just let y'all know if you do stuff within the same 30 days, they don't pull your credit again." But I just want to say this. She started going through all the things that they offered. And she was like, "Oh, well, if you want to refinance your car from your other credit union and bring it over here," she says, "Well, we already got your credit pulled up and it's a 733.
Was it a 733 when you started?
I don't know if y'all heard what I just said, because last week when I sent you the information, it was at like a 6 something. And so she said, the bank lady told me I didn't even know I was over 700. So I just got to share this with somebody, because then she proceeds to say, "Well, because your credit is this good, we can take your loan from the other credit union, give you a lower interest rate, dropping your payment and getting less, having to pay on interest back to them. And with that being said, and then take some of my direct deposit, throw it in there, and then they're not doing any fees, no fees. And the APR, the interest rate for like balance transferring over, is only 0.99%. So if y'all don't understand what that means that all of the money that I had in this other credit union, I transfer it over. My interest for all of my credit cards this month was only $1.50. Wow. With that being said, just with that alone, I saved, because had like 6 credit cards where I was getting hit with interest on all of them. And so literally just by moving it over to that card that got opened, that saved me like $300 right there in just interest. And now I'm about to save money on my car note. And my credit jumped up over. That was more than 100 points right there. So I just had to share because I couldn't talk yesterday.
We shouting now?
I'm done.
Sharing.
We are shouting. We are
Yes,
shouting.
we are.
If Grace
We
wouldn't
are
peeling
shouting.
potato, Grace is
Come
peeling
on,
potatoes with her
Tracy.
daddy. Grace peeling potatoes with her real earthly father, so she can't play the organ, but the organ goes here. The organ goes here. Where you at, Damali? The organ goes here. As a matter of fact, let me put that out there again. So when you see what I be doing out here in these streets, you go ahead and get that donation so I can take this worldwide. 2 different companies, but you need to go ahead and go get that donation and take it worldwide. Damali, let me just talk to you. I ain't talking to nobody else. Damali, my homegirl, it's my partner. Everything we tried to do years ago, I mastered. Go and take your classes. I checked on you personally. You ain't been taking them.
No, I'm coming. I'll have capacity in November. I'm finishing up another class and it ends.
Outstanding.
I'll have
All right, that's fine. And that's it. I mastered. Yeah, I hear y'all clap for Damali and her taking care of her husband and to bring her husband home. There you go. We're going to speak those things that are not as though they were.
Real quick,
right.
one more
Please,
thing. Because you mentioned, you said about the husband and the family and stuff. And my daughter's credit, because I worked with her too. My daughter's credit is over 700 also. And within probably the next few months, hers will probably hit at 800 before she graduates college. And so I'm just excited about that because of the fact that, think about it, y'all. For me, I know I wasn't even thinking credit like this, but like me telling her and showing her what to do. I said, go pull your credit. And she was like, Mama, she sent it to me. And it was like 720 one day. And another week, I said, pull it again. It was at 750. I said, you don't even know what this means. She was like, no. So I had to explain. So with that being said, I was like, we finna get her a bunch of capital with cards, but I was breaking it down. How,
remember, she can't use them.
That's what I told her. I said, but you can't use them, but you're going to have that access. So one of my things I want to gift her with for her 21st birthday is her own real estate property.
You better talk. You better talk. Yeah. There you go, Grace. There you go. Oh, Grace, you got your volume muted or something, Grace. You got your volume muted or something. We couldn't hear the sound, but the organ was there. Let me see. Hold on. There we go. Okay, I'm sorry. That's that big lady in the back. You know what I'm talking about? That big lady in the back. You know what I mean by big. She fine. But she got that her arm wiggle right here. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
But she make 3 cheese macaroni. You understand? Right. Can't fool with her pecan pies or her sweet potato pies. You understand? Nah. She ain't got much money. She got this wonderful house. She got all her bills paid. But you're gonna eat though. You come over here, you're gonna eat.
Like a fine woman with grandma arms. Let me tell you
something. Let me tell you something. let me tell you something before I get William. William has a testimony too, and I want to say this for the podcast too. Ain't nobody on the planet, I'm about to do too much. Just so we know, just so everybody understand, I'm about to do too much. Can we get the too much together? I'm about to do too much. Can we just resonate too much? Ain't nobody toes prettier than the BBW. I said what I said. I said what I said.
That's right.
I said if she thick, her toes is pretty. Anyway, I'm sorry. My bad.
Amen and amen. Every 2 weeks, brother. Every 2 weeks.
Hey,
Antonio.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You got to give your testimony too.
Full gospel.
Yes, sir. That's full gospel right there. But you was gonna get you got a testimony as well because you started something. Go ahead. Oh, okay. He probably did. He sent me a private message. He's gotten some stuff removed from his credit. He's got good credit. He's got some stuff removed from his credit.
It's in the works, brother. It's in the works.
It's in the works. There you go.
The soup, baby. I'm making the soup.
All right, there you go. There you go. Okay. One more housekeeping thing. I'm looking at the time. One more housekeeping thing. It's a repeat. Where would you be if you never gave up on you? So I want to bring this back now because Tracy took us to the promised land. See, Tracy, she messed up my flow with all that good news. No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Follow Tracy energy. Let me bring it down. Let me bring it down just a little bit because she put the Holy Spirit way up there, Jerome. Saying, you know, I can't even follow. I gotta ask the choir to sing something before I preach behind what Tracy just did. Where would you be in your life if you did not quit on you? And if you be honest, I'm doing this on purpose. There's a reason. You'll see. I'm about to transition in about 30 seconds. If you be honest with yourself, Antonio, you quit on you a lot. You never quit on your family. Oh, you never quit on your kids. You never quit on your parents. You literally are hypertension, pre-diabetic, 2 diabetic, 5 diabetic, and you at your mama doctor's appointment right now, making sure she good. I wish I had somebody. Can I get a witness?
Well, damn.
There we go. And here you is, 5 diabetic. And you at making sure your mama okay, your daddy okay. Where would you be if you stop quitting on you? Reason why I bring that up because we are in part 5 of Ministry Beyond Messy People. And the first week, I told Tracy, you got to have ministry beyond disciples. And if you remember the text, those disciples who know this stuff, if you're missing this here, this the good people, Phil, this the good people. The people with the one don't even, they look at Damali and assume, they look at Damali, hear me well, they look at Damali and judge her by what they see. That's about to come back up. But they look at Damali. Do y'all understand? So when sacred text says stuff like, well, it's not sacred text, it's just the Bible. When the Bible says notorious sinners or things like that, what it's saying is, I can see what's wrong with you on the outside. I'm in my introduction. I'm teaching now. Class has started. Okay, class has started. So what does it mean when I can see what's wrong with you on the outside? It's when I can see you 16 and pregnant. Can I get somebody to understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's when I can see you's a single mother. I know. I'm not trying to say that's a sin, but you get the point. It's when I can see you's a deadbeat dad. It's when I can see you are a drug dealer. It's when I can see you are. This call is being recorded. This call is from Antonio Smith for Otis. Please press 1. Some of y'all ain't got nobody in jail. You don't know what I just did. However, some of y'all was raised. This is how some of y'all was raised. This is Kofi Sa. Some of y'all, so Ashton, me and Monique's middle child, is writing a book right now, and then our baby girl is writing a book right now. Monique is going to be, hey, everybody, oh my God, look at the sign. But I'm from 807 38th Street, Galveston, Texas, 77550. And it was, you got a call from an inmate, press 9. And you missed it. But I set it up real good, though. I set it up real good, but you missed it. My mama wouldn't at no football games. I'm talking about, look at my homecoming son. Look at my sign. Mama, I came from the place where you got a call from a collect call inmate, press 9. Who know what I'm talking about? That's when you can see my sins. It's when you got to show your ID to meet me. So in week 1, I told everybody, you got to do ministry beyond disciples, because the folk who's supposed to know better, don't do better. And then in lesson 2, I told you ministry beyond doubts, because once we got the disciples, Otis, the problem was Otis got blessed. And I said, now Otis, I've been knowing Otis for a long time. Otis been blind this whole time. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, how many of y'all, I need the real black sheep of the families. If you're not a black sheep, I'm not talking to you. How many of you got the degree, you got the job, you got this, you got that, you did everything you were supposed to do, yet your family members still don't buy from you, ain't gonna buy from you, ain't got no plans to buy from you?
Yep.
Hello.
Come on.
Hello.
Hello.
So in week 2, I told you got to do ministry beyond doubts, because the people who are supposed to give to you will doubt that God is using you. Anyway, I'm going to come back to that later. William. In week 3, I taught you, then you got to do ministry beyond talking. Now remember, I define ministry as work. Because here's the problem, the problem is after they doubted, and after the wrong people didn't have your back, and then after the wrong people encouraged other people to doubt you, now we got a collective. We got the church leaders saying Dion ain't nobody. Really? Dion ain't nobody? And then now we got other folk agreeing with my little pettiness. So then in week 3, I taught you, but you got to learn. You still got to do work, even though we talking. Now, if you're not careful, you just miss what I just said. So let me help you out real quick. If you're not careful, you don't understand how much people love to talk about whatever is hot. Everybody talking about Diddy right now, ain't they?
For the most part.
Wouldn't even talk about Diddy a month ago. Well, maybe 2 months ago. No, when Diddy was out here trying. No, I'm absolutely not defending Diddy. Don't get twisted. It is not wise, Tracy, or responsible for a leader to give his opinion on emotional issues. I don't teach for a leader to stand on an emotional issue, because you will offend your audience. If you are pro-life, you will offend pro-choice. If you are pro-choice, you will offend pro-life. But if you're looking for my opinion, I'm going to counter what I just told you just now, and that just made some damn sense. I don't agree with nothing Diddy did. Let me just tell you right now, not a damn thing. Just so we clear, I ain't no R. Kelly in this house. Ain't no Diddy in this house. That's for me. That's me, though. Just so we clear. I don't agree with Diddy, but I am going to defend him right now. Now, y'all was with him when he was trying to get his just due from the liquor companies he was doing dues with nobody making no content against all the people who wouldn't letting him be a money generator. Now you're making content against.
Well, Jaguar was. You gotta Jaguar Wright. I don't know if you've seen her videos. Anything she talks about. She's been against Diddy for years.
She has.
Diddy and Jay-Z.
She has been a Jimmy. She's been against Jay-Z more than Jaguar. More than Diddy. I'll leave Jaguar Wright alone. Dame Dash did just say, though, wisely, is wise. He did just say like 2 days ago, why anybody sued her then if she lying. So he did just say that. But Jaguar Ryan is a different animal. My point is, motor scooters gonna talk, Dion. And they never gonna talk about Tracy's 733 credit score. No, y'all not listening. I set this up real good. Then I'm like, Tracy took it upon herself to fix her credit and to fix her only child credit and to establish a legacy for herself and her daughter and to make sure her daughter graduates college with prime lending. Tracy is in prime lending. Her daughter is in prime lending. And one person gonna say, hey, I know a lady named Tracy who did that. And it's gonna be like 6 months from now. I'll prove it to you biblically in a second. But if Tracy got chlamydia and then was spreading it around, see, they don't want to listen to me, not Dion. If she got chlamydia, like, go ahead.
You know what they would do is, yeah, they get jealous, right? And then they talk about everything that they don't like or everything that they feel is wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, because they are the it, I'll say.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, and I heard you said you still got to work through that, not listen to what they're saying and work to your, and a lot of us, I know back when I was 20.
I thought you was just 22. I'm trying to get these brownie points, Sean. Don't worry about me. Keep on going.
Really, it was like back when I was in high school. That was the deal for me. You know, nobody seemed to, and when I talk to the older folks now that, you know, are my age, they're like, Dion, do you know what they, you know, in high school, they hated you and you did this and you did that. And you know, they just didn't want you. And they still hate me. And they say to this day, they talk to those same people and and I'm just like, I'm not even in their atmosphere.
That's you're proving my point that if Phil goes eat at a good restaurant, Phil tells one person. If Phil eat at a restaurant and they gave him terrible service, Phil tell 10 people the same day. Now, I'm not necessarily using Phil as an example. I'm just saying, like, this is the, okay, somebody said I would. This is the nature of humans, and we have to do ministry beyond people talking, Grace. And then last week I told Ina, but then listen, after these folks start talking, Ina, then they was like, well, show me the god doggone fruit. Show me. You showed me. Okay, all right, if Jerome's a billionaire, show me. If Dion's really a virtual assistant, show me. If Ina can really do that, show me. Okay, go ahead, Phil.
I've actually used that. I'm talking to a customer. I don't remember who it was. It could have been a printer. It could have been a copier person. It could have been a computer person. And I say, and we're getting a little tense. I say, hold on now. I do seminars on creating customer loyalty all across the country. I'm in front of 40 to 50,000 people a year. Now we have an opportunity here. We're either going to create a good story on customer loyalty or we're going to create a bad story on customer loyalty. It's up to us on what we're going to create. So let's start from that vantage point and go from there.
But there you go. It's up to us. It's up to us. Grace, to keep it real with you, listen. These folk gonna talk. And I told y'all last week, Tracy got 733. Share your screen, Tracy. Let me see it. You ain't got no 733 if your house don't look bad. Come on, y'all know who. We got we all got the same cousin.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, she got all that money, but she ain't giving it to us. If she's so rich, why she won't fix the pothole in the street? As if, since God is blessing her, it's her job to
Bless
fix
fix
what you ain't fixing. We literally like to punish people for being blessed.
Well, that's a craps in a barrel mentality.
Two things about the crabs in the barrel mentality. Facts. Facts. Here, Tracy. I mean, she don't understand. By the time he got to 733, the Bible says, "Humble yourself and find the Lord, and you will be exalted." Let me help you out with something first. If Tracy don't tell people she ain't got a 733, Tracy is hiding what God has done for her, and God can't get no glory. Did you? Y'all out here being secret agent Christians. Shame on you. No evidence whatsoever you's a Muslim. None. Ain't got no evidence unless it makes you look good. Every time Tracy don't say how good God has been to me and his how is every time she is hiding her faith. That's the first thing. Second thing about crabs in the bucket, which I'll forget, Otis, is a bucket is not the natural habitat of the crabs. Somebody put it there. Somebody controlling the situation. So, that being said, for the times I should have given with you, brothers and sisters, I want to speak with you upon the subject ministry. Oh, lost my little subject here. Ministry beyond. You know what? Let me hold it just for a second, Jerome. Not yet. Let me hold it. Let me back up just a little bit. The problem is Tracy ain't given to us. The problem is Phil got all this knowledge, and if you love the Lord, you should give it away for free. Who know what I'm talking about? I mean, if you really, if Otis is really doing good, why he ain't help his mama? Who know what I'm talking about? I have no idea of the situation. I'm just making stuff up. Okay, that's any situation I bring up is completely hyperbole. It's completely made up. It's total illustration. Okay, it's total illustration. I mean, Grace, chief sales officer, where her house at? Okay, with that being said, now we'll set it up, Jerome. For the times I share together for the rest of this subject that we have here today, I want to speak with you on part 5, Ministry Beyond the Tribe. It reads as follows. Then they asked him, what did he do to you? How in the world are your eyes open? He answered, man, I already told y'all. Did you not listen? What you want to hear again? Y'all must want to be one of his disciples. I'm not making it up. It's right here in the text. I'm not making it up. Grace, I'm putting some jazz on it, but I ain't making it up.
Yeah.
Right. Then they hurled insults at him. You must be this Mother Scooter's disciple. We disciples of Moses. We do church like this. We do this. I ain't like that. We know who God is. We look, it's right here, 29. We know that God spoke to Moses. But as for this, as for whoever that healed you, that Moses, he's a fraud. It's right here. We don't know where he comes from. It's right here, Jerome. Jerome, am I making this up? I'm just putting some drama on it, Monique. That's all I'm doing. The man answered, well, this is some symbol job did. That's what he said. He said, this must be remarkable. So what you're telling me is, you know how black folk clap, what you're telling me is, y'all know where he come from, but he done made me see again. Clearly, y'all don't know God. It's right here in the text. Look, now that's remarkable. You don't know where he comes from. Yeah, he opened my eyes. It's wrong. It's in the text. And then they respond, watch how you talking to us, because both you and him can't be godly people. Y'all know, folk is real serious when they go, That's the thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. It's right here. Watch this here. The thing. If this man was from God, all right. The thing. This is some poor job because he can't be a godly. He listens to the godly person who does his will. Nobody has ever. Look, ain't nobody ever heard no damn sinner be blessed. This right here in the text. Nobody has ever heard a man open his eyes, be born blind. And look here. If this man were not from God, he couldn't do nothing because God ain't gonna never bless no sinner. You say, Antonio, that's not in the text. It's coming, cuz. Just give us some time. It's coming. To this they replied, you were steeped in sin with your sinful self. It's right. Let me highlight it just so y'all can. You were steeped in sin at birth. Dare you lecture us? I'm the pastor. And they threw him out. All right, I got a bunch of stuff to explain. Remember, if you get kicked out the synagogue, you're no longer a Roman citizen. And if you're not a Roman, well, you're no longer a Jew. And if you're no longer a Jew, then you're no longer a Roman citizen. If you're no longer a Roman citizen, then I wash my hands of him. Y'all can kill him. Can I have, and I need you to unmute your mic through this. I'm only talking to Christians. If you're not Christian, just fall back for a moment. How many Christians have heard somebody go, ain't nothing I could do no more. I wash my hands of them. Come on, help me out, somebody.
I done heard
Hello.
Yes.
That's what these focus do. That's what these focus doing right here. These focus saying, you know what? I tried everything I could to help all this. He can go to hell now. It's what they're saying.
Oh my God.
That's what they're saying. Because, okay, I was explaining this to my dad like 2 days ago, because he's in prison and he is like the leader of the prison, but he has a number of Catholics beneath him. And I was explaining to him my Catholic is Christian. Everybody's Catholic. He knows this. But I was explaining to him because he was having an issue with one of the Catholic people trying to overexert themselves inside their church service. And he's doing it in the wrong way. And I said, Dad, I've been wanting to tell you this for a long time. This has been happening for a long while. I'm saying now 50% of this is he's just an a-hole. I did say that. But I didn't say a-hole. I put the two S's on the end, the two critical letters on the end. But I said that the other 50% though is you don't understand. I need to teach you about Catholicism. Up until 1521, we all are Catholic, and everything comes back to Catholic. Catholic means universal. Once we became Protestant, then we made Catholic mean something else. But all Catholics, all Baptists, all Methodists, all everybody is Catholic. All y'all. If you are not Catholic, yes, the hell you are. You are a Catholic. If you're a Christian, you're a Catholic. Period. Point blank. Everybody's Catholic. If you draw your line back to Christ, you are Catholic. And I was telling my dad, as a Catholic, they were born and raised that salvation comes from and through the church. So while 50% of this is completely him, he's just being an a-hole. The other 50% is if you don't let him do what he's doing, you don't understand. When he gets sat down, he's going to hell. This is his teaching. So you see that in this text. If you're not in the synagogue, on the way to hell you go. So I need y'all to receive that. And they kicked him out. I don't want you 21st century that. That's fine. I've been down. I can do what I want. Nope. Kicked him out means you're going to hell. You can prosper all you want to. What profit the man? You gain the world and lose his soul. You're going to hell. You're going to burn, die, eternal flames. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's just kind of, we're not talking about what you believe, Antonio. We're talking about this, what the first century Jews believed. That's all we're talking about. Everybody get it? So this is treacherous. Now, there's a point before this. This man, there's no biblical example. There's no historical text. And this is very cool. So, Grace, today we talking about ministry beyond the tribe. I want to show y'all tribal thinking. Tracy, you come in for a moment. Everybody else can fall back. Tracy, who the hell said this man sinned? Where's his sin? I'm not trying to make him sinless. I'm just saying, where in the text did this motor scooter sin? Where did it got brought up? But remember I told y'all the disciples had the major problem because Rabbi sinned. This man or his parents. In this text, the preachers are saying, it ain't his god doggone parents, it's him. Look, let me show you again. Tracy, I'm just talking to you. Everybody else say they're eavesdropping. You were steeped. No, hold on. First off, how dare you, motor scooter? Right here. How dare you lecture us? You were steeped in sin at birth. This is why ministry beyond the tribe, because it's tribal thinking that they have. This man is born blind. He ain't did nothing. He ain't robbed nobody. He ain't did nothing.
Antonio,
I got you. Let me just finish it. But since they can see his sins, since they can see they hate him because God hates him. I'm coming back to that. Go ahead, Jerome.
this is the same thing that happened to Job.
Yeah.
When his friends came. Now, you done sinned. Why? Because ain't nobody that been through what you've been through. So come on, Job. Come on.
Bildad, Eliphaz, and Zophar said, "But Job, you ain't got Jerome here with you, huh? If Jerome ain't here with you, you're clearly a sinner."
And we know the Bible tells you God allowed this to happen to Job, but they telling you, you said, come on, bro. Come on.
Just trying to help y'all out here, Jerome. Just trying to help y'all. Let me do it again. They don't like this man because God don't like this man. No. We're not talking about accuracy. Forget. I'm not asking you what's accurate, Antonio. I'm not asking for your theological conversation. I'm asking you for sociology. I'm asking you for how to blank we behave. I don't like gays because God don't like gays. I don't like weed because God don't like weeds. I don't like sinners because God don't like sinners. Don't like it. Is it? Am I still on, Grace? Because I can hit myself.
Yes.
Look at the text again. Look at the text again. Look at the text. Look at the text. It's right here. To this they replied, "Get the N-word, get the hey, you need back. You fill in all them blanks. You ain't never been nobody. Don't nobody like you. Ain't nobody gonna like you. Ain't nobody. You ain't. But you're dirty. You understand? It's right here. It's all right here. You were steeped in sin at birth. How dare you talk to me? Let me do it again. And they threw him out. Let me do it again. How dare you talk to me? Let me make sure. I'm gonna make sure everybody can feel that. I'm gonna make sure. I know one way to make every last one of y'all go, oh no, I don't like that. Watch this here. Ladies, shut up. How dare you talk to us men? Okay, there it is. See how you see that ain't taking long at all. What was that? 2 seconds? That's 2 seconds before I almost got cut. I literally said it was an example. I didn't mean it, but I almost got cut all the same. This is what they're saying. They're saying, I'm above you. No, you was steeped in sin, lower. How dare you talk to us like that? Higher. That's the text. You can say you can theological all you want. That's the text. That's no, to borrow from Phil Sorrentino, that's the context. That's the situation we're sitting in. My question, Otis, up for discussion now. The rest of the class is up for discussion. My question now, Otis. Deanna, you first. No. Tracy, since you on fire, you first. My question is, what evidence they got against this man? That he was born blind? So now we got God hating people because of their situation. Can we talk? Can we talk? Ministry beyond the tribe. I call this tribal thinking. Let me give you just two more tribal thinkings and y'all can open it up. I mean, Grace single with no kids. I don't know what's wrong with her. Let me help y'all out. If that don't make, I was gonna give y'all two examples. I only need Grace as a good example. I only need nobody else's example. I only need Grace. Grace single with no kids makes Grace a very wise woman until she gets in front of a Christian. It's open for discussion. It's open for discussion. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I jump in right there?
You sure
then
can.
If you reverse it, and the assumptions are when you see a single woman with kids, then people make assumptions that, oh, and you never know why she's single with kids. She could be a widow. You know what I'm saying? And so people seeing certain things and automatically assume it. To me, that's what they automatically assume that this man didn't sin. They don't know what could have happened to him. Something could have happened throughout his life that caused that situation, which that doesn't mean necessarily that he sinned. So just thought.
Sounds like women in the catch-22 and this blind man's in the catch-22. Damned if you're single with kids, damned if you're single without kids. Damned if you're blind, damned if you got seen and you got your eyes back. Remember, he was ignored blind. Blind, he was pitied. Seeing, he was hated. There's something there. Go ahead, Otis.
I liken it to kind of like a mob mentality.
That's right. That's why I call it tribal thinking.
Yeah, where no one's thinking. We rather follow. Thinking is too hard. So the word on the street is a single mother, either this or that, or one of these few categories. If you fit in there, boom, you're the bad person.
Yeah.
Without even asking questions, I know, because you fit in this category, this must be true.
Must be.
And
because God wouldn't let it happen if it wasn't. because me and God got a personal relationship and I know him better than anybody else on the planet. Keep going, Otis. My bad. Keep going.
No, I was summing it up. I was going to say those exact same words.
How many of y'all know somebody that God ought to be lucky he made them? Who know what I'm talking about? Like, no, this the way they act. This the way they act. God better be lucky he made me, because y'all can't do this without me.
Every leader in my church, every leader in my church is exactly like that. Every leader. And then when I'm not like that, oh, she's just not. We'll train her. We'll train her. That's just crazy, ain't it?
See, that can be confused with confidence too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or assuming I act like that. I can say I'm confident in what I say.
That's true.
You should be more like me. Right?
Oh yeah. Exactly. It's true. I don't even take that up.
It's true. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. I mean, I don't know about Jerome. Jerome need to be saved, but as for me, God better be glad he made me, because I got Jerome. I'm helping Jerome for God. That's how we act. No, I just need y'all to get. No. Go ahead, Renee. No, go ahead.
Yeah. I just say this. People be like, Like, yeah, I'm trying to help Jesus out. I'm like, oh, I didn't know Jesus was hiring. I was like, I surely didn't know. I didn't see that ad. He needs you to do this. I'm like, oh yeah, y'all can't do it. I had somebody say to me, um, when I started going to this church some years ago, they're like, yeah, Renee, she would have never been there if it wasn't for me. And I
Wasn't for
thought
me.
to myself, I just went ahead and let her
All
dig
right, wasn't for
herself
me.
in.
Hey, if it wasn't for Antonio, the whole damn kingdom of God be in hell.
I'm like, I was like, you know what? But I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead. You know, I try to be respectful of my elders. And sometimes if she wanted to feel like she wanted to dig herself in, I was like, well, go ahead and dig in. But I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, everyone has an assignment. But if you don't do it, then somebody else will. And she just so happened to have been the person that you know what I'm saying, that I met and that I went to this church. But it's not solely because of her. But you know, she wanted to have it her way. So go ahead, you know.
No, I'm glad you said that, because see, here's the problem with what you not everything you said is fantastic. The problem is, once I'm in tribal mentality, God ain't telling you nothing unless he tell me first.
Yep.
Until God tell me what he doing with you, you ain't doing it right. Until I get the idea of what you should do with your life, I don't approve of nothing you doing with your life.
See, Antonio, now you sound like, and I can say it because Jay's my husband, but the church that Jay was a part of, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave, and we're moving to North Carolina. They're like, oh no, God ain't tell you to do that. God ain't tell you to do that. And
because God
I'm
ain't
like,
tell me.
no one good and well. I'm like, Jay don't move unless God tell him to do it. And I said, yo, you know what you heard. Let's roll. Okay, that's what we gonna do. And
Well,
you
see,
know
as
what?
your pastor, I'm over your soul. So what's her role then?
Well, you're supposed to have your own relationship. But
Think
yeah,
about what I
that's
said.
exactly
If I'm over Renee's soul, what the hell is she over?
it.
Okay, keep going, Renee. Keep going. I'm not. Okay, Grace got it though, because this is
Yeah.
something we say all the time. Anyway, keep going. I don't mean to be messy.
I mean, but then I mean that's what it is though, because the church that I was at, they're like, you ain't supposed to be with that boy. I mean, what are you doing? And so I just said, I'm just gonna go ahead and disappoint all of y'all mugs. I'm sorry. And I did, and I'm glad I did, but it's like, I'm like, it's supposed to be the household of faith. It ain't supposed to be a daggone cult. And if I leave here, that means you out the cult. So I'm like, well, go ahead then. I guess I'm out. But I'm still gonna be free. But I know at the end of the day, people are like, Renee, Jay did this, blah blah blah. And they ain't supposed to. That's why they suffering now because of all this. I'm like, ooh.
It's right
And
here.
people,
It's in the text, Renee. It's in the text.
Facts.
You were steeped in sin from birth. How dare you talk to me like this?
Like they ain't never did no stuff.
Yeah, that's in the text. That is it. That's Jerome. That is in the text.
As long as you give them credit for God's decision, you good. But if you say that it was God, no. You got to give them credit for God's decision, and they'll be okay with it.
That's right.
You better watch it, huh?
And don't forget, do not forget that I don't approve of none of Otis' ideas until I gave them to him. Y'all can front all you want to. You know a family member treating you like that right now. You know a family member treating you like that right now. Some of y'all been married 30 years and you got a family member can't wait. I can't wait to Otis. Otis getting the, I told y'all Otis. I told you Otis was gonna mess it up. Because 30 years ago, they needed to be right about Otis. And they paused their whole life just to be right about Otis. Ain't did a damn thing for their life. They've been waiting on Otis to fall. And if you're not careful, my friends, you will be surrounded by people who are waiting for you to fall. Can I push that further?
Mm-hmm.
This is about to get real muddy, but it's real. It's real. I'm going to do this from a man's perspective because it's going to emotionally hit more than a woman's perspective. Y'all already think if a woman cheat, the first thing I say is, what the hell that man did? That's the first thing I say. So let's all right, you already programmed that way. So let's bring it from a man perspective. I've seen with my own eyes us judge a man and never knew how long it took for him to fall. Allow me to explain. 14 years this man was standing while broken, trying his best, to put this situation away quietly. But that woman, now this goes both ways, but we're using man because it's, so I don't want anybody to say it go both ways. I don't diminish my argument. We're talking from a man's perspective. It shouldn't need to be corrected. But that woman is a narcissist, and she's real good at playing victim. And now all of a sudden, he leaves, and it's plenty of options. Goes to another state. Like this man can get a whole new house, still take care of them kids, and y'all will still say he ain't taking care of his kids because he done left this woman. You have no idea that it took 13 years of abuse every day for this man to fall. Listen to the way I'm saying it. I'm not saying that he fell. I'm saying something stronger than that. I'm saying he was standing while slain for 13 years, and you had no compliments for him, no help for him, no nothing for him. And the moment he fell, you acting just like this folk in these texts. Ministry beyond the tribe. It is so easy for us to fall back into tribal thinking. Let me now define what tribal thinking is, and I want Grace to go first, and I want Deanna to go second, and I'm gonna open it. No, I'm gonna switch that. I want Ina to go first. I want Grace to go second. I want Deanna to go third. And here's the deal: I'm giving y'all warning. I know, my God, but I gave you warning, so you can't say I didn't give you warning. But I'm gonna set you up to say something good. I want to define tribal thinking. Phil is in the tribe. I'm the head of the tribe. Phil is doing his own thing. Phil doesn't listen to me, Chief Antonio. And then all of a sudden, the sun god don't give us rain. Good job. You see it? That's okay. I set it up, but I'll do it again. Don't worry about it. I ain't had a problem with Phil doing his insulting, connoting thing, his humor thing, because we was getting blessed. But this fall, the crop didn't come. Or the crop came, but then the winter freeze killed it all. Or it was a hurricane and the salt water killed it all. So now, instead of doing something responsible, Phil got me blanked up. Why? Because God was blessing us. And since God ain't blessing us no more, and God has taken from us, something got to be wrong. Trina ain't wrong. Monica ain't wrong. They listening to me. Otis listening to me. Grace listening. That motherfucker. I'm so my bad. That boy over there, Phil. He the only one not doing what I say. Come on now. Don't act like y'all know. This is real. This is real example. This is real example. It's always him. Whole damn family was blessed until he came along. And I told his damn mama to put that discipline in this boy. Come on now. Y'all don't want to act like Okay, that's all right. You know what? It may hit too hard. I understand. Okay, I'll keep going. I told her, Phil needs some discipline because if it's in the mama, it's gonna be in the child. As a matter of fact, his mama ain't pay attention either. And then the neighbors and church neighbors get together. And I ain't like the whole Sorrentino family. They've been crazy. So now I got enough tribal thinking. And this is what we do. If I want the sun god to bless me, if I want the crop to be restored, we got to kill Phil. It's only two ways to kill Phil: kill him or kick him out the tribe. And since I'm too cowardly to kill him, I'm going to kick him out the tribe. You ain't got to listen to me. It's in the text. And they threw him out. It's in the text. That's tribal thinking. That the moment Antonio becomes Tracy's leader and Tracy stopped listening to me, I blame every bad thing that happens in Antonio's reality on Tracy. If Tracy would just listen to me, we wouldn't even have this problem. And then I weaponized the scriptures. Y'all ready? Obedience is better than sacrifice. How can two walk together lest they agree? I could do this all day. It's plenty. I could take any text out of context and weaponize it against Tracy. Because the problem is not Tracy. The problem is I'm not emotionally mature enough to handle my cutback seasons. So I got to blame Tracy. That's tribal thinking. That's tribal thinking. If Tracy would just listen, my life would get easier. As if God, the law of attraction, had anything to do with what y'all gonna do for my blessings. You missed it. Every day, in some form or way or another, y'all go, what's for me is for me. Until you start losing and you get unemotionally mature and you forget what's for me is for me. And then if Ina would just do her D6 job right, we'd have been had a contract. No. If I just had some help.
Facts.
It's facts. If I just had some help. If Dion would just hurry with the contracts. Of course, all this is false. That's why I'm using me. Remember, whenever I say something bad, I use my name. I use my name. Whenever I say something bad, I use my name. Because I've had some folk get mad at me on these calls before. So I've learned my lesson. I've been doing it for years now. If Dion would just listen, let me help all y'all. Everybody write this down word for word as I say it. Nobody can adjust your harvest. Not even you. I'm done. Nobody can adjust your harvest. Not even you. If Phil Morocco Sorrentino, that's not his name. I just put Anthony Morocco name, and then it just both sound Italian, so I just threw them all in there. If Phil plant a seed, even Phil can't adjust how that seed come out the ground. Y'all out here tripping. If it's in the ground, it don't matter how much Ina ain't listening to me or praying against me. She can't stop what's coming up. And let me help you even more. No matter how much Ina is against me, Ina can't plant these seeds for me. I'm the only seed sower in my life. It's just me. I have to allow Ina. Okay, then okay, you plant for me then. And how do we do that in real life, Tracy? That's what we did. I lost control. Now I'm arguing with you. And that's me universally, spiritually going, you plant for me. Because what I want to do is be angry with you. So I'm going to plant poison so you can know how much you got me messed up. My friends, under no circumstances can I mess up your harvest. That's a one-man job. That's a one-man job. Earlier today, Ebony did the wisest thing. We put Ebony business out there. Earlier today, well, it's positive. Earlier today, Ebony messaged me. She did. The first message was the wisest thing I ever did. I ever saw her do. The second thing beat that. The first thing was I was like, okay, look at her doing, look at her being wise. The second thing, I was like, she is growing. Let me help y'all out. Ebony, text me. Ebony, tell him what you text me.
I think I texted him something like I feel stagnant, like I'm not growing.
Wisest thing I ever heard Ebony say, because self-awareness is a superpower. Who can agree? And so I told her, we're going to be on the call because I'm actually going to be telling me to do something. I actually got something for that. And then so what we do is go and reach out to somebody and then be on the call. Ebony, tell them what you said. What'd you say to that response?
Here, let me open up our thread because I don't remember. I said, after what you said, I said, okay, you are that someone. And then you said,
now the wisest thing okay, this is what Ebony did. Ebony said, man, you know, in my life right now, I feel like I'm not growing, I'm stagnant. Now here's there, Ebony been in every class, every financial, every something like that. So if you're stagnant, then what's happening? Well, I'll come back to that. I'm gonna leave that blank for right now. And I said, well, go and reach out to somebody. What's up, Adrian? You looking good. Go and reach out to somebody. Go and reach out to somebody and blah, blah, blah. And Ebony say, you was that somebody. And it's the wisest thing I ever heard her say. Let me tell you why, God dog it. Because there's this Ethiopian eunuch in Acts chapter 8. Say, shit, I was reading this Bible. I ain't know what the hell was going on in it. I mean, sheep and shit, and my bad, sheep and stuff going on, and cut with the scissors and stuff. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and then Philip, the evangelist, the only person in the Bible called evangelist, Philip say, well, you know what's going on, and my Ethiopian eunuch act like Antonio. What the hell? How I know what's going on? Ain't nobody here to explain it to me. See, y'all need to. I need to narrate y'all Bible so y'all can understand it. Okay, I need to narrate.
I'm gonna need that recording.
For real talk. Hell, I'm supposed to know what's going on. Ain't nobody here to explain it to me. And then the text, I swear, I'll pull it up. I swear to God, the text says this. The text says, Philip goes and do this and explain to him. He said, so then my man, the Ethiopian eunuch, goes, what the hell? Well, how can I get part of this? I'm trying to feel connected. This is what Ebony did. I'm trying to feel connected. Antonio busted Philip. All right, then this is what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna send you down in the church over there, and then we're gonna Ebony say, hell no, it's some water right there.
Good for you, Ebony, because
I'm just trying to grow.
Let me put that text up so they don't think I'm lying, Jerome. I swear to God, I quoted that text word for word, well, not word for word, but I swear to God I did. I promise I did. Okay, we'll put an ESV so I know it's accurate. Yes, Acts chapter 8. I promise I did. I am not lying. I 100% did not put nothing on that. All that, look, Philip to the Ethiopian eunuch, the angel of the Lord said to Philip, rise and go towards the south, and the road goes down to Jerusalem, and that's the place. And he rose, and there was an Ethiopian eunuch, a court official of Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who was in charge of all his treasure. He had came to Jerusalem and worshiped. He was returning and seated in the chariot and reading. I'm slow down now. The prophet Isaiah, and the Spirit said to Philip, on over there. to this chariot. So Philip ran to him and heard him reading Isaiah and asked, hey, you know what you're reading? You understand? And he said, now how can I told y'all, how the hell I'm understand? Look, how can I let somebody guide me? I don't listen. I've been black my whole life. That means, how the hell am I supposed to understand something? Ain't nobody talking to me. I don't know what the hell I'm reading. I don't even know why I'm reading. I just feel a spirit telling me to read this stuff. And he invited Philip to come sit with him, right? And then here is the explanation. And the Ethiopian eunuch said, well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You, to borrow from Adrian, that's a word. Wait a minute. About whom? I ask, does this prophet say this about himself and someone else? And then Philip opened his eyes and his mouth, and beginning with the scripture, he told him all these great things and stuff. And then Antonio busted Philip. And as they say, you know, man, listen, we're going to take you down to church over there. Look. And as they say, we're going along the road. And he came to so on. And the Ethiopian, Ebony said, hey, it's water. See this water?
I didn't know what I was saying was so wise.
It's so wise.
I was just saying it because I needed some help.
Let me tell y'all why Ebony, remember I said, when Ebony reached out, I said it's the wisest thing she ever did. When she said, I did that. That's why I'm talking to your dumb ass. When she said that,
I didn't say
let me
that.
tell you, well, yes, she did. Yes,
I
she
said,
did.
UK, you are that.
That's
someone.
what he heard. That's what he heard.
Yeah. I translated into black folk talk. I translated it. Yeah. Let me tell you why it's so wise. Because let me tell you why this is so wise. Because you don't know how long it took Ebony to ask for help. Well, I wish I had somebody. You don't know. You don't know. First off, you don't know how hard it is for her to ask for help, and you don't know how long it took her. And you don't understand the mental battle that she went when she was typing, I'm not for the text this motherfucker. He not even for this thing. I'm not for the. I need some real folk out there. I need some Tauruses.
All I can say is that's a word, because that's why I'm on this freaking call right now, because I said in my life, it's been a year and I miss this energy. I need Antonio. Antonio is the guide. When I watch other people do it, I'm like, shit, that's what Antonio is trying to tell me to do. So the only place I need to go is to go back to where it is. So yeah, Antonio, that's a fucking word, bro.
There you go.
Adrian, we miss you, girl.
Ebony's our original member.
Missed you so much.
I mean, Adrian's our original member. Original member. She been here. She ain't never left. She
Nope.
ain't never left.
I'm about to say, y'all used to say when the people would leave and come back, they ain't never left. So
Never
I said,
left.
shit.
No.
But you're telling the truth about the battle, the inside battle of what you got to go through and how hard it is to make the call and all that other stuff. And look at the things that happen. It's very hard. But trust me, Evan, you know what you did was the right thing, because it's going to work it out.
It's hard. Remember, we in this series, Ministry Beyond Messy People. This was if y'all catch up. And I'm showing you, remember the first thing was Ministry on Disciples. Ebony reached out. And I'm acting like one of the disciples. Well, if you go down to the church over there. No, wait a damn minute. I ain't even come to the church. I came to.
Well, that's kind of what you did tell me, because you like, oh, find somebody. And I was like, you're that somebody.
Okay, so now my response was different than this text we've been reading, because my response was, and I will see you in class, smiley face was my response. Okay, with a little smiley face. You got doggone right, Ebony. Damn it, me. And let me tell you what the problem was. The problem was I was getting ready for class, and she texted me. But God sent me class. But I want to get ready for class.
So that was that don't pass up church on the way to church.
Come on now. I'm trying to rush off the phone so I can get in the spirit. And God say, there, you trying to get in the spirit for? That's the spirit I just sent to you. Would that make sense on that one? Is that? I sent the spirit to you trying to get in something I sent to you. That's our doggone problem. I
Trying
don't
to
care
work
what you
extra
say.
hard there. I mean, God's out there helping you right now. Come on.
You trying to get in
Pick
the
it up.
spirit I done sent to you. But that's our doggone problem. We so busy worried about serving people, we forget to serve people.
Passing church while going to church. That's on the lucky.
I'm logging off now.
That's why I say the wisest thing everybody ever said was, hey, I need some help. And then when she killed that wisest thing, when she said, you. And here's the deal. I have to stress this. Renee. You don't know the internal battle she had asking for help. No, it wasn't easy. And this is, I'm gonna tell y'all something my dad taught me. Tracy. I am too young. I am too young to have said this. I cannot take credit for this. My dad taught me that when Ebony asks for help, and I finally get out my little whatever and go see if she need help, she ain't in that energy no more. That help energy then passed. And I'll never be able to help her again. Probably nobody else. Because the moment she needed help, it don't last long.
I can vouch for that. That's so when I was younger, I asked for help. And I was always told, go ask this person. Then when I asked this person, they had some excuse on why they couldn't help me. So I was like, well, forget it. I'll just do it my damn self.
That forget it, I'll do it my damn self lasts longer than
it did.
Let me humble myself and ask for help. It lasts a lot longer.
But it did more than that, though. It got me to a point where if I went to you to ask you to lead me in a direction and you led me into confusion, then nobody can lead me now. I'll just lead myself. I'll teach myself, because at this point, I've asked enough people to help me and to lead me because I needed help in this direction. And you didn't, or you led me into more confusion, or you led me into something that I felt was harmful for me that left me traumatized. Well, shoot, I can traumatize my damn self. So with that being said, I went 32 years without a teacher. Well, what point did I start teaching? 14. Well, 32 minus 14, them years in between there. I led myself. I taught myself. Anything I wanted, I looked at it, I looked for it in a book. When internet came up, I went down rabbit holes. That's how I got to where I got to. And even after 32, you still couldn't really teach me or lead me. So what Ebony did, when you tell somebody, it does more than you think it does. It actually changes a person's whole life, their demeanor, the direction that they take, how they view people in general. It changes the entire trajectory of their life. Because somebody
Not only are you,
I'm sorry.
keep going. No, keep going.
Somebody like me, I'm bullheaded enough. If you tell me enough times, if you confuse me enough times, I'm just gonna cut you out and do it all myself. And in my head, well, if that person did it, and this person is like that person, then you're gonna do the same thing that person did. So I'll just do it myself. And when I get into the I'll do it myself mentality, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So don't try to help me now. I don't want your help now. It's too late. Bye.
And there it is. Listen, I got you, Renee. The point I'm making here is you don't know how long it took Ebony to ask for help. Now, what's going to happen is, as a Christian, as a leader, as soon as she fall, I'm a castrator. You're not paying attention. Well, you don't have a penis, so I can't castrate you. But as soon as she fall, Okay. As soon as she fall, I'm a punisher.
But I asked
judge
you
her.
for help.
But that's my point. You get it? The point, I don't know how long it has taken her to get to the point to finally ask for help. But I would have said, we're going on down there. But then 2 years from now, 2 months from now, when she finally failed, I see, that's the problem with y'all. The problem with Ebony, you don't never ask for help. And the whole time she's going, but I asked you. And what we do is we end up judging people, not for falling. Well, we judge people for falling, but we never understood it took them 14 years to fall. They were falling for 14 years. You ever been walking in snow and you hit that patch of ice and you fell 5 times before you fell? You know what I'm talking about?
Like, yes, right.
You caught yourself 4 different times. This is how much I've been falling for 5 years, and I'm falling for 5 years. I'm finally here now. And now I'm asking for help. And now you won't give me help. And I finally fail. And now you want to judge me for it. That's ministry beyond messy people. Ebony's not the messy person asking for help. Me being saved created the messy environment. When she came for help, I wasn't available. I'm going to give Renee in 15 seconds, but I need to say something to y'all. God has enough arrogant and unapproachable preachers. He don't need no more. Renee, go ahead. You got to go and save me right here.
But see, and then what Deanna just put in the chat, I was like, I'm the type of person where I don't like asking. I do not like asking. And if I have asked you, to anyone that is on this call that I've asked you, know that it took a long time for a sister to ask. But for me, it is the times that I actually went to ask my family. I ain't getting no help. Renee got a lecture instead. And them Kennedys know how to talk. And they use big words. And I don't want to hear none of that crap. And so I got to a point where I'm already the black sheep in the family as it is. I just alienated myself even more because I know I can't come to you. I can't come to you. You are no longer. And then when I do, if I did again at that time, well, Renee, I don't know why you overdoing that when you should have came over here. Says who? Says who? Y'all some big head people. Some big head people. And it can. I went through a very humbling part because I was homeless and I had to finally ask people, but it took years for me to finally get there. Took years. So Ebony, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm inspired by
we got to reward people for asking for help.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can get penalized so much for asking to the point that you just like, man, forget it. And I got to the point where I just said, well, either I'm gonna get what I need to get, or if I don't get it, I'm just gonna go without it. But I ain't asking no more because I'd rather just go without it than for me to ask people. And they're like, well, you wouldn't have had this if it wasn't for me. Because my family will come at you with that same energy.
Oh yeah,
will be like, you wouldn't have had this if it wasn't for me.
Well, we gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that. Hold on. You stay unmuted. We gotta talk about that just for a moment. That the only reason I help Renee is so I can go tell Adrian how I help Renee.
Bunch of hot dog smelling people.
Here you go, Renee. Oh yeah, God bless you, girl. Let me tell you.
I can't stand when people do that. Oh my God, shut up. I know you've been on here doing this thing forever like that. I know, but I hate when people do that. And then they got to tell you, and then the way they tell you, they putting all the business out.
All the business out.
All the business. Even the stuff that didn't, even the business that wasn't supposed to be out. You put it all out just to make you look good. To make you look good.
Yeah.
You know what else they do that at? They do that at the funeral when they get up to talk about the remarks. Well, you know, I took her to, and I'm like, wait a minute, are they talking about what they talking about? Child, shut up, Antonio. You still out here doing still doing the thing.
Still doing the thing. Go ahead, Renee. Pick back up.
But you know what? It has come to a point where I'm just like, I had to, if I decided to sink or swim, I was going to do it on my own strength and nobody else's. But I will say, Antonio, that where I'm at now, I know there are people that I can ask for help, and I can actually trust myself and trust them that I can come to them and they're not gonna blow it up in my face. I'm grateful I at least have some, but there are still quite a few people that I'm like, man, shoot, I ain't asking you. If my aunt be like, Renee, how you guys doing? I know she ain't going, because her energy has not changed at all. And I know I'm like, no, man, she put it up in a person's face. Oh, yeah, you know, Renee, you know what I'm saying? She married and that husband, he ain't blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, you ain't gonna come from my husband. I draw blood. You come from my husband now. But it's just, you know what I'm saying? You asking for help is the biggest deal, is the biggest thing, because you really have to have a safe space to go to, because everybody is not vouching. Not everybody wants to see you win. There are people that want to see you win, but there are people they're like, Renee come to me, I ain't giving her 50 cents. Now there's people that will give you $50 if they have it. So you just have to know who to trust and who not to trust. So
Are you sure right? Y'all write all this down for me. This week, let me shorten it up. Okay, hold on. I'll tell you when to write down. This week, you're going to be in the highest faith you ever had. Now start writing. And some people will hate that you have faith.
Repeat, sir.
And some people will hate that you have faith. Is what you need to write. The full the statement before all this is, this week you will be in the highest faith you've ever had, and the rest is gonna be always after the end. And some people gonna hate that you have faith, and then you can write this down inside that. To be inside the will of God is to be outside the will of people.
Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Little plug. We've got a catalog of books that we've Let's Study a Book that anybody can access whenever they want to help them to get help. And then Harvard Medical School did a study on why people live a long time. I believe these are the same common denominators why an organizations last a long time, and the same common denominators why couples stay together a long time. The first one, of course, which I like, is your sense of humor. The second one is an altruistic attitude. The third one is regular exercise. And the fourth one is a sense of community. And they define a sense of community as a group of people that you feel comfortable saying out loud, I've screwed up, I'm hurting, and I need help.
That's a community for sure. So everybody right now, unmute your mics and clap for Ebony, because she exemplified that.
All right, Ebony, thank you.
Ebony.
I'm so proud of you.
There you go. And you're gone.
You go, girl.
Yeah. Because, you know, if she would have got pregnant or robbed somebody, we'd have been all over that. We'd have been all over that, you know. Oh, you heard about Ebony? You know, all that stuff like that. Number two thing I want you to, very welcome. Very well. Number two thing I want you to write down. It's messy people's mind are already made up.
Yes.
Comma.
Oh.
They ain't gonna never listen to you. Yes to both of them.
Repeat.
Messy people mind already made up. They never gonna listen to you. The reason why that's important is because, and I got all this. I'm trying to save you. Not that you need to be saved, but just hear me. You're going to seek validation from people who are never going to support you, and you're going to kill yourself when you do.
Oh my God. 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 Oh my freaking God. Okay.
That's an appropriate response. That's an appropriate response. But if you just listen to me, I got my stuff together now.
Antonio.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Antonio. You know, I've been breaking and doing this church stuff.
Yep.
Antonio. When I tell you that is a true statement, because it's like they can't see it or something. Yeah. But I got validation because they did a play and nobody could do the part. And I was Mary Magdalene for Easter. So, you know, Mary Magdalene was Jesus's homie.
Yeah.
So I rocked out like Jesus was my homie. Do you know these people now validate me because they seen the play? But before, I couldn't do nothing. It was nothing there. But that was something that God gave me that I did, thinking that I'm going to go ahead and do this audition. They ain't going to pick me because, you know, they don't value, you know, this is just what they do. They look at me and be like, there go Adrian, keep going.
Yeah.
There go Adrian, keep going. Finally, the validation came, but it came through Christ. It didn't come through nothing that I did for none of them fucking people. Excuse me for. I know y'all don't really be cussing. Y'all probably have a nice, calm conversation. Y'all probably been real good. It's probably people on here. It's probably people on here like, what in the world? Who is this lady? Like, I apologize, but damn it, that is the realest statement that I heard. All the shit you say is real. For real.
Thank you so much with Adrian.
You know what I mean? But that validation shit is for real. You be seeing people, they talk to you crazy. Like, you still doing that little thing you doing? Bitch, it's not little. Go ahead with yourself. You know what I mean? Keep watching me, damn it. Keep watching me. That's all. Just keep watching me. And that's all they do now is watch me. And then God gets the victory. God gets the glory. But damn it, if I didn't have to find that out the hard way by doing it, getting sick, people don't even want to call you and shit. You were like, are you kidding me?
That's
but
right.
I'm sorry.
And one of the valid points that Adrian is bringing up is once you start winning, people's perception change of you. She had to win in front of them. And a lot of times, God will use your winning to shut folk up.
You better say that's a word. Daddy, right there. That's a word.
Use your winning to shut folk up. People don't like you. They never gonna listen to you. Stop trying to get validation from people who were never meant to be on your journey. Just because we're a family don't make us soulmates.
Wait, I want to help some people out. Because if you are like me, I just want to help you. There are times where you have to love somebody from a distance. Like you literally have to just love somebody from a distance. I was talking to Grace and I made a statement to her and she asked me, does it bother you? And I was like, no, it don't bother me. She's like, do you want it to bother you? And I said, I think it does, because there's a part of me that still wants this person to actually give a damn about me. But then I was like, but that's why you have to distance yourself. Because if you don't distance yourself, you will fall back into the tribal thinking and fall back into whatever it is that person had you in, or you allowed that person to have you in. When you are in recovery, you can't go back to the addiction. You have to distance yourself from the addiction. People are addictions. So when you are in recovery from a specific type of energy or a specific type of person, you can't go back to that person. because you will fall back into that addiction, because just one taste will get you back hooked again.
Deanna, what if you that person?
I am that person. I am that person for some people, and they have distanced themselves from me, and I'm not mad at them because I would have done the same damn thing. Because I understand now, and because I understand I am that person, I work to kill that person every day so I don't be that person for somebody else in the future.
And it will be a daily battle.
Some
of y'all battles will
day.
be daily.
But sometimes the people you have to distance yourself from, sometimes they're the Saul to help you distance yourself from the Saul within you. Like Antonio was telling us.
Okay, I got to bring up two things now.
So
I got to bring up two things.
You look, just for those of you who are like me, understand, sometimes you got to distance yourself from the people who are who are supposed to be the closest to you. But sometimes the people closest to you are the people that hurt you the most. When you crave a certain thing from a person, if you're not getting it, you have to look within yourself and ask yourself, why? Have I ever? What does this person contribute to my life? If the answer is nothing, it's time to distance yourself. I don't care who it is. It could be blood. You could have came out their womb. They could have donated to your DNA. You have to do it. I'm done.
Okay, I got so much to say here. Okay, the rest of the call and changed. There's so much to say here. Which one I want to do first? All right. A lot of y'all are hurt. This is powerful, and it's the least of these. A lot of y'all are hurt, and you can't sleep at night. And you're trying to. You go to sleep, but then you start dreaming about the person that you wish was in your life. And if this would just have happened, then it would be different. And I want you to hear me very well. The reason why you're hurting because you don't realize consciously that you are mourning someone who's still alive.
Oh.
As though they are dead, because they are. Because in the walk of your life and the wake of your destiny, you have to mourn them. And you haven't let yourself go through this mourning period. They have died. They still living. But in your perception, your worldview, you have to mourn somebody like they died and they still living. That's powerful. And that's the least of these. Because here's how I'm going to end this conversation. There are no accidents on this planet. And I know you're going, yeah, of course not. And I know everybody gets that. I'm about to go deeper now. You never meet anybody by accident. Okay, everybody gets that. I'm going to go deeper now. Even the person you walk past today and the person you was quiet with in the elevator and the person who held the door open for you, they were all part of your divine ascension. Let me explain. There are 3 phases of relationships. I'm only going to explain phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 3 is not relevant for this conversation. Phase 1 is, well, let's start with phase 0. Phase 0 is all human beings recycle soulmates. 34, 35, 36 of them every lifetime. Reincarnation is a real thing. It is, whether you want to believe it or not. It's all in your Bible. It's in every sacred text. We are literally talking about John chapter 9, which is a full reincarnation chapter inside your Bible. And you recycle 34 some people. So this is phase 0. In phase 0, I want you to write down soulmates. Put it in header 1. Soulmates. That's header 1. And then you're going to write down
karmic with a K, soulmates, and soulmates. A lot of y'all done married y'all karmic soulmates. Allow me to, okay. All right. I saw somebody, they just had some resignation. Karma will follow you throughout your ascension. A karmic soulmate, here's how you know someone's a karmic soulmate. That it is impossible for you not to be with them. You keep trying to leave them. You keep trying not to talk to them. Come on now, I need a witness or two. You keep saying, but I'm smarter than this. You know it's toxic. You know you shouldn't. I think if I could just, but the universe keep pushing y'all back together no matter how much you try to leave. That's a karmic soulmate. I would explain why in a second. Let me just put this addendum, this parentheses here. A lot of y'all have karmic soulmates as family members. But let me stress this even more though. I shouldn't say this out loud because I'm going to tell this out to you aloud, but you haven't learned the lesson, so it's going to repeat itself and it's going to hurt worse. But I'm going to give it to you. A lot of you women, your karmic soulmates, are your mother. It's a lesson that you're supposed to learn.
Cussing at people and stuff, telling people that shit, making people mad. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's the truth, though. I'm getting closer and closer with her. I'm getting closer and closer with her. I can't believe it.
So that's what it's about.
I can't believe it.
That's what it's about.
I'm getting closer and closer. It's so true.
That's what it's about.
I seen her stand up yesterday and I watched her and I said, damn it, she's my fucking mother all day long. I said, she took that microphone like, that's my mother. That's how I said, damn, she taught me all that shit, man. Jesus. Bye, Antonio. See.
Listen. If you consider yourself a star child or any kind of language, if you know, like I'm gonna tell you, if you I'm only talking about parental karmic soulmates. If you are an empath and you know it, if your relationship with plants and animals are better than your relationship with people, if you sit here and wonder, where is my real home? Take me from this planet. It's weird down here. If that's any of you, it's highly likely that you have allergies you cannot explain. And by highly likely, I mean for real. I'm just being nice to you. And you have incarnated with a karmic soulmate. Anyway, for the most part. All right, I'll leave it alone right now because I don't want to stay that alone. Here's how you identify a karmic soulmate. It is so difficult for you to be with this person, but the universe makes it real easy to keep drawing y'all back together. No matter how much you leave. Ina, go to Germany. Mark, how are you here? All right, this, oh my God. All right, boom. A soulmate is the exact opposite. The easy and difficult is flipped. It's so easy to be with a soulmate. You don't have to talk to him for 5 years. As soon as you see him again, you pick up right where you left off, like not a day has passed.
It's homecoming.
Yes. I feel like that with friends, some friends out.
I'm telling you, it's homecoming every year. It's like you can be 16, 17 years away and be like, it was yesterday. We was with them all morning.
All morning.
It's homecoming, baby.
That's what I call my home slice and my home skillets.
This is why me, Phil, and Susan are as close as we are, because we understand what I'm talking about. We're me, Phil, and Susan are soulmates, but we can keep going real quick. So understanding this, I want you to understand something very wisely, Ina. A soulmate is not only easy to be with, But the universe keeps making it to where no matter how difficult your life has become, it's always with ease and no effort. That's a soulmate. But they're both soulmates. Y'all out here trying to find a soulmate and happiness. You're forgetting that you did some janky stuff and you got to burn off that karma. It's called a karmic debt. You don't get to do me bad this lifetime and not see me in the next one.
Oh my God. So everyone I've done that.
That's right.
I want to see them again.
My friends, not only will you see them again, I don't want you, like, you're going to go, Antonio, it's not true. I've been literally reading y'all John chapter 9. John chapter 9 is based off of this. Rabbi, who has sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Not this man, but for the works of God to be manifest. Scroll down to hear. How dare you talk to us like that? You were born in other sin. 100% John chapter 9 is working with what I am telling you with. That if you had an ailment, you were a sinner and you reincarnated with that trauma and the punishment of that sin. This is why Catholics baptize infants, to get rid of the curse of Adam on this new baby.
Well, I didn't even know that.
Yes. It's called original sin. This is 100%. This is not new age thinking. I am telling you, this is theology. Now, listen. This is phase 0. There are soulmates and there are karmic soulmates. Now, 34 of them, something like that, you will keep seeing them sometime. Remember, the gender does not reincarnate, the soul does. The relationship does not reincarnate, the soul does. Now that we got that understanding, phase 1, the only 2 things I wanted to talk about, and I can blame Deanna for this, for what she just said. Deanna and Adrian, really, they shifted the call. It's both of their fault. Everybody in your life is a divine connection, even the people you will never meet again. Let me explain to you. The person in the elevator that you did not speak to, the universe was seeing if you were going to be open. You've been praying. And when you got in the elevator and you were quiet and you stood on your side and then you let them stay on there, both of y'all were being tested. And the very thing that you were praying for, you will not get, because there's only one of us in this room. And when you were tested with how you were going to behave to one of us, you told the universe you're not ready to share. Because you didn't share a smile. Is that why I talk to everybody? Is that why I don't pass up a buck? That's absolutely correct. This is exactly why you may never be rich, but you ain't. This is why you may never be, because you got this part down. She may never be rich, but she ain't gonna never be without. She ain't gonna never be without. Good. She always good. Oh my God! Always is that what it is? Always good. You got.
And I didn't know this in my college years. Otherwise, I would have been, "Hey, how you doing?" Just everybody. Right. But there have been times I've gotten on the elevator and just not spoken to people because they weren't speaking to me. So I was like, "Okay, we can be quiet."
So listen to that. Listen to that. They weren't speaking to me. Listen to it. Listen to it. They weren't doing something by me, so I don't want my blessings.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, when my dad was in the hospital.
Deanna, receive first. Receive first. I didn't get what I want because Deanna didn't behave the way I thought she was going to behave. So don't give it to me. That's your elevator meeting. Since you wasn't friendly, I ain't going to be friendly. Since you behave this way, I'm going to kill my own blessings. Okay, Phil and Deanna.
When I step on the elevator and I go, "Hi, kids."
I gotta get old enough to do that.
Get all sorts of reaction.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And it works. That's that joy he's spreading. Okay, go ahead, Deanna. Take your time.
Well, my dad was.
We might go a few minutes over. We ain't going that over. Once I get you these 2 things, we done.
when my dad was in the hospital, I went down to the coffee shop in the hospital cafeteria quite often. So every time I was on the elevator, someone would get on. Right before they would get off, I say, well, you have a good day today. Or as I got off, I say, well, you have a good day today. And there was this one guy, he got on and him and the lady started talking because they knew each other. But he didn't say anything to me. So as I got off the elevator, I said, well, y'all have a good day today. And he was like, oh, you too. Like he was shocked I said anything. And I don't know why, but that stood out to me. Like he was shocked I even spoke. That, and I did every time I got on the elevator and got off the elevator, I did that. But he was the one who stood out to me.
I mean, here's the deal. Being kind is so rare that it is what it is. Like, I mean, it's so rare. But anyway, let me move on. Phase one of relationships is just the people you randomly, but the way you interact with people you call strangers is the way you're interacting with your blessings, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Or if you don't like that, whatever you do unto the least of these, my brothers, you do also unto me.
I want to hit you in the face right now.
Who is my brother? Who is my sister? You all are.
You all are. You all are. Mother, this is your son. Son, this is your mother. Remember, Jesus said that on the cross. That was one of the 7 last sayings. One of the 7 last sayings is redefining what family means. So everybody that you, Tracy, everybody that you're going to talk, everybody that y'all walked past today and didn't give joy, you told the universe, we're not accepting joy today. And so you're not going to get what you're praying for.
Well, what about when you just are ignorant to this? Because this was 12, I don't even know how many years, 12 years prior.
Yeah.
And I don't know this.
That's true. And if you're ignorant to it, 2 things. The universe was still responding to your ignorance. There's no grace there. Thing number 2, and now you're no longer ignorant and you can now stop the wheel of karma. But think about it. When y'all was 6, 7 years old, 3, 4 years old, a baby, learn how to walk, you spoke to everybody. Hey, ding, ding,
ding, ding. My neighbor does that. She say hi in the most like she'll be running from the house to say hi to us.
Exactly. Phase 2. Y'all got phase 1 down now, right? Phase 1 is determining your blessings. How you do anything is how. Phase 1 is consistently showing Otis who Otis really is. You quiet on the elevator. You standoffish. You don't open the door for that old lady or whatever it is. You're literally telling the universe, I'm not open to receive, so I'm not open to this person. Phase 2, which is rather for phase 3 don't matter, but rather for this conversation is phase 2. You've been with somebody for years, 8 years, 9 years. You're a parent. I want to specifically talk about lovers in this case, though. But it could be parents too. And now you're heartbroken that y'all not together no more. I'm done. I promise you, I'm done in 5 minutes. Y'all heartbroken. Y'all not together no more. You heartbroken, excuse me. And your heart aches. And you're trying to think of all the ways, man, I just hope Travis would, oh my God, I hope he's thinking of me or whatever. Right? And you're just so hurt. And here's the deal. You think that relationship has ended. That could be further from the truth. That's not what phase 2 relationships mean. Phase 2 relationships mean this here, that me and Tracy were a couple for 8 years. However relations happen, the bird and the bees. Nobody ever taught me about the bird and bees, but however the bird and bees happen, we bird and the bees. And now we not bird nor bees is no more. And I say our relationship ended. That's a lie. Phase 2 means, write this down as I say it. We have ascended to where our ascension is no longer codependent. That's all that means. The people you love so much
that are no longer in your life, your soul has ascended so much to now your ascension is no longer codependent. It is intertwined, because you could not have gotten to the level of ascension without them. It is absolutely intertwined. But you no longer need that person, and they no longer, and this is what hurts the most. What hurts, it's not you. When you no longer need that person, you don't hurt. It's when they no longer need you. That's what hurts. Y'all want to act like you tough, but we can keep it real. It's when they no longer need you. It's when they block you. Come on, help me, somebody.
Oh my gosh, I got shot blocked by ex a day.
There you go. I'm done in about 3.5 minutes. Just hold out with me. All that phase 2 means, while the relationship has ended, it doesn't mean the relationship with that person has ended. Your ascension with that person has ended. It means your ascension with that person is no longer a cold journey. They now have everything they need to ascend without you, and you now have everything you need to ascend without you. There's a phase 3. It's not relevant for this conversation. I don't even want to tell you about it. It's a bit more permanent, but that's not the point. The point here is, and I'm ending, that if you look at somebody and you're no longer with them, that means the journey has been fulfilled. And those who appreciate the fulfillment of such wonderful times, the law of attraction always works well for you. Those who get bitter that time has ended, the law of attraction never works well for you. 2 more things. I'm going to say the same thing repeated. This time, you're going to see me walk to Think and Grow Rich. Those who are grateful for the time that has happened, they have the ability to use the power of sex transmutation for the desires to come to them. Chapter 9, the original translation of Think and Grow Rich, talks about this in great detail, what I'm talking about. Those who get bitter, they get to the road of poverty and not the road of riches. 3rd time, you really gonna see I'm in Think and Grow Rich, power of sex transmutation. Love is fleeting, comes and it goes. Those who appreciate it when it was here, they always get their dreams. Those who do not and become bitter, it always gets taken away from them. My friends, in 1929, that book was written, or something like that. 1920. It was in Great Depression. I just told you, with New Age thinking and scripture, what the heck Napoleon Hill was telling y'all about being bitter. I just literally used New Age thinking to teach you about phase 2 relationships, but it's in Think and Grow Rich. And y'all are right now going with Phil and Susan through Think and Grow Rich, the Black choice. I gotta go.
1937.
That's it. 1947, 37?
Right.
There you go. In the middle of the Great Depression.
You didn't talk about any of the.
So hear me well. You got something to say, William?
I was gonna say, brother, I love you, man.
Man, I appreciate you
for this information, and I'm hoping you got through my book. I don't know how you coming on my book.
I'm 90% done. I'm 90% done. I'm reading everything so I can write the foreword for you. I'm 90% done.
Okay.
90% done.
All right.
Grace, I only need 1 minute. The reason why, well, I didn't change the list, but the reason I wanted to press this here is because, Ina, you just need to know your reaction to what's happening to these phase 1 and phase 2 relationships are determining not your blessing. They're actually showing you who you really are and why you're not blessed. See, it's not the reaction that's making you not blessed. It's exposing who you constantly have been. And now you can understand why you are not blessed. When you don't talk to the neighbor, when you don't wave at the person, when you purposely get on the sidewalk and you get off the sidewalk and you do the little straight neck walk, hoping not to make eye contact with that person that we all do. You're telling the universe, I did not come here to be blessed. Why? Because the only way to be blessed on this planet is to share it in the community. But when you straight neck walk by people hoping not to make eye contact, you tell the universe, I didn't come here to be a blessing to this community. And to borrow from Phil Sorrentino, the universe abhors a vacuum. As long as you are seeing yourself in phase one relationships, you're seeing who you are and you're seeing the level of your blessings. And as long as you are still bitter about the relationships that have not continued, you're seeing who you are in blessings. And that, my friends, my last sentence, is why you're not blessed. That is ministry beyond the tribe. And sometimes you are the tribe. And that's why you can't do ministry. You can plant better. You can dominate. Love everybody. Enjoy
love
the
you
night.
more.
Bro, I love you, bro. Good night, y'all.
Love you too, AJ.
Oh, man, I love you, bro. I love you so much. You don't even dig it.
All right, y'all have a good one.